Queens and Kings, my name is Thandeka Shabangu. Welcome to my channel. If it is your first time here, welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you for coming back. Welcome to today's tutorial. For today's tutorial, we'll be doing our part 2 for this tutorial. So we are attaching our triangles that we've made for part 1 from part 1 and taking those triangles and attaching them to our choker belt or our neckline. So what materials we'll be using for today's tutorial? You're going to be using your upholstery thread, your needle, and your 8-knot size zest beads. So for the beads, you're only going to choose one color. So for this tutorial, we're going to be using our navy blue color. So let's get started. So this is my choker, the belt, the part that is going to be, this is the neckline. So what we're going to start by, creating the brick stitch throughout the entire choker. And then the next step is for us to add on our triangle on top of the brick stitch. So the stitch is going to be navy in color completely. The entire line, we're going to have a navy line, and then I add on the triangle. So I have my needle and my upholstery thread, and I took the two. I'm going to use a single thread, meaning I'm not going to, when I create a knot, I'm not going to tie these two tails together. So I made the one short and the other one long. I almost said tall. So here at the end, I have already made the two knots. Ne? Okay, so this is the side where I'm going to create the blue part. So I'm just going to flip it because I like working from here. So I don't like it working. Okay, let me stop explaining too much. I'm gonna get confusing. I'm going to start confusing, I'm sorry. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to take my needle and insert it here. So the aim is for me to get to this part, this side of the belt. Ne? So I start on the side. You can start on any side. You can even start on this side. I wanted to start on the side. I have no reason. So any side is okay. So you're going to pull your thread inside. Make sure that the knot is inside the beads. And then when you pull, you make sure that there is tension. So you want to test that your thread is not going to come out on the other side. Ne? And then what you're going to do here, you're going to tie your knot. You're going to tie a knot. This is to make sure that it is nice and secure. You tie it nicely. So what I love about this knot that you tied is it's going to be like invisible. So you're not going to see it. So this is how you're going to secure your thread. Ne? Then you continue to move up. You just move in between your beads, inside your beads, but you move in between, and then I insert my needle into the two beads here. Okay, so here it is. So now I am going to pick up 6 navy beads. So throughout, I'm going to be using navy beads throughout. Ne? So I'm going to pick out 6 of those beads. So here are my 6 beads. I'm going to push them down. So what we will be doing now, you're just going to be working in between the beads here. Okay, so the first thing that you're going to do, remember, so now you are busy with your ladder stitch. This is, the ladder stitch is almost similar to the stitch that we started with, the foundation of our triangles that we did yesterday. So you're going to insert your needle into the first 3 beads. This is a ladder stitch, but the only difference with this one is that you have to keep attaching what you're doing to your belt. Ne? Then you take your needle, you insert it downwards. So as you insert it downwards, okay, let's insert it. There we go. You're going to take your needle and insert it into the next green bead. And then this is how it is. Ne? Then you pick up 3 navy beads again. So we're doing 2 things at the same time. You're creating your ladder stitch, and at the same time you're attaching it to your collar. Yes, because this is the collar pattern. Here are my 3 beads. I take my needle, I insert it here at the top. And then after that, I insert my needle in the beads that we used before. Want to zoom it. For this part, there is no specific rule on how you have to go about. Ne? So here it is. I pick up my 3 beads again, take my 3 beads, insert it at the bottom, move up, then I move down, and as I move down, I insert my needle into that 1 bead. And here we are. I pick up 3 blue beads, take my needle, insert up from top to bottom, and then I insert up, so I don't insert my thread through the green. Pick up 3 beads. So there's no specific rule. You just have to look good. Oh, okay, that means I haven't grabbed this bead, so that means during this process I have to make sure that that bead is going to be grabbed. Insert your needle and make sure that the bead is grabbed. So I grabbed the one on the right and I left this one out because when I place it, if I grab the one on the side, this one, the first one, you see it's already creating the blue beads. The blue line is starting to bend, you see. But if I grab this bead on the side instead of this one, if I grab this bead, the second green bead, the blue line is going to be nice and flat. So that's why I say for this part, there is no certain specific rule. You just have to make sure that everything is flat. And then I go back up. Go back up. I pick up 3 beads. I start from the bottom. I wanted to say something and I remembered that it's going to be confusing. Then from the bottom, I move down. Then I grab the first green bead. Then I pick up 3 blue beads. So this is what you're going to be doing throughout. Start from the top and I move down. So as I move down, I insert my needle up like this. So if you can look here, I pick up my 3 blue beads. Then I move down. And then I grab the next green bead. Then I pick up 3 blue beads. So this is how you'll be moving queens and kings. This is more like freestyle. There is no set rule on how you should move. But just make sure that as you move along, you grab the beads that are in your belt. Just going to grab the first white. If you can look at the beginning, it's not steady, it has bent, meaning there is something wrong that I did. I did not share the blue lines evenly. So you want to make sure that everything is flat. If it stands up like this, then something is wrong. Okay, so this is how you're going to move throughout until you get to the end. So now we're going to move on to the second part, which is to attach our triangle. So I've pushed until I got to this point and I am running out of thread. So I wanted to show you how do I add on a new thread. So you have your needle. Sorry, my hands are dirty. You have your needle and your thread. And we're doing the same thing. We're not going to join the 2 tails together. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create 2 knots, one on top of another. There we go. Then I pull my thread and then I have my knot. So I'm going to move from the bottom up and then I pull. And then I am going to tie the 2 tails together. So this is my first tie. I don't want to tie too much because I'm still left to come back to this point. So usually if your knot is too thick, it kind of like creates a barrier at the top of your bead. So, and I need that hole to be a bit clear because I'm going to have a needle come through that bead hole. Then I tie my second knot. I always tie 2 knots, just to one for tying and the second one to make sure that it is tied. And no, I do not have trust issues. So you're going to pick up 3 beads. You're going to continue with your Put my needle underneath, up to top, and then I pull. And I move down. I grab the next red bead, and here I am. Then you continue with your ladder stitch. So we're done adding our thread. So after that, you continue. It's very simple and straight to the point, I hope. So after you're done, you're going to add your triangle. So now we're done adding our thread. You're just going to continue with your ladder stitch. This is me, and I have completed the blue line. So now on the last one here, when you get to this point, please do not cut this thread off, because we are now going to use it to attach our triangle. So I'm just going to bring our first triangle closer. This is our first triangle. So this is the triangle that we'll be attaching here. So if you look closely, you have lines here, and these lines, they go well with the lines from the blue line that we just did, no? So you're going to take your needle and you're going to poke your first, let me start in this corner, first 3 beads from your triangle. Like this. And then I go back up to the second. Please ignore this thread. I feel like it's going to confuse a bit. Let me just cut it closely. It's just the loose thread, like these loose threads, that I have to come back and trim. So you push like this, and then you go back, go to the next to there, which is the green, and then you pull your needle, like this. Yes, I was trying to figure out a way of holding this, and in a way that I can see it, so that you can be able to see my work. then you move up again. So you just need to make sure that the lines align. I have a knot here. Let me sort this out. Then I go back. So this is the third. Number 3 from blue and number 3 from green, they have to align. So how do I do that? I insert my needle into the blue and then my needle into the 3 green. Then I pull slowly so that you won't have knots like me. Then make sure that you pull firmly. After you've pulled slowly, make sure that it's nice and firm. Gold is going to align with the 3 blue. Is it showing properly? Make sure that everything aligns. There we go. And then blue has to align with red. Here we go. I pull my needle. Yes. So as you can see so far, we are attaching. Red has to align with our 3 blue. So you can see here. Then you pull. So this is how you're going to move. This is how you're going to just keep moving. And here it is. So I'm just going to continue until I get to the end, and then I'm going to come back. So this is the last join. So what you're going to do is going to go up, set your needle into your blue from your neckline, and then you insert your needle into the 3 blue into from your triangle. Ne? Then you pull your thread like this. Then what you're going to do, so that you can be able to come back without undoing what you just did, what you're going to do, you're going to hook your needle under the white bridge, and then you go back up. Okay, let me set in the first 3 from your triangle. and then you go back to the 3 from your neckline. Okay, so this is how it is. So now we're going to attach the other triangles. So this is the next triangle that I'm going to attach. This is the next triangle that I'm going to attach. So for each triangle, I'm going to skip 2 of the blue lines. So this is going to be the first blue line that I'm going to skip. This is the second blue line. Oh, sorry. This is the second blue line that I'm going to skip. So I have a space of 2 blue lines between each triangle. If you want to open the space maybe to 3 blue lines or whatever color that you'll be using, it's all up to you. But based on the measurement on how I've measured things, if it's going to look nice and even if I have 2 blue lines that are skipped in between. So for this blue line, this is the blue line that I'm going to start adding the next triangle. So I'm going to also insert my needle into the 3 blue lines from this triangle as I'm starting to add my triangle. And here we are. It's all coming together nicely. It's coming together nicely. So we're going to add here. This line up. I keep forgetting that there's a camera and I have to make sure that every work is shown nicely on the camera. I get too carried away. I'm sorry for that. Okay. So now we're on the 3rd line. And this is the 3rd line. So you're just going to keep doing this until you finish your entire, adding all your triangles. And this is nice and quick. The part that is time consuming for this necklace is, for me, it's the triangles, making the triangles. After you've made your triangles, the rest, attaching, it gets better and better as we keep going. So this is the last triangle I'm going to attach for the tutorial, and then we are done. On the next tutorial, we are now going to get started with the draping. It's coming together so nicely. I'm happy. Are you happy? I hope everyone is happy. We should stay happy. We should stay happy. Okay, so I'm just gonna come back after I've completely attached the second triangle. So I am done attaching the second triangle. So now I'm just left with the third, the fourth, and the fifth. So I'm left with 3 more triangles to attach. But I like this part because it's a fast, it's a quick part to do. So this is where we're going to stop for today's tutorial, Queens and Kings. I've tried so much that it's not longer than the first part. The first part was long. Part 1 was long. Even me. Even the bands, even me, I was like, this is too long. I wanted to explain into detail. You know when you explain things into detail, and me explaining that the first part tutorial was long is making this one long. Ne? I should just keep quiet. Thank you so much for watching, Queens and Kings. I love you guys so much. Remember to love yourself, respect yourself, honor yourself, and have fun. If you love the content that you're seeing, please consider subscribing. See you on the next video. Bye.